Thank the organizers for giving this opportunity. I'm going to talk about the ongoing trial, WIN-COVID trial, using LDRT for COVID-19 pneumonia. This is a randomized parallel group active control trial, which is being conducted in Harshamitra Cancer Center, Trichy, Tamil Nadu. Actually, we got the CTRI registration for recruitment from October 2020 itself. But in the initial phase, we couldn't get much cases because by the time we started recruiting cases, the first wave had gone down. And so we didn't get much cases for recruitment. But after the second wave started, we have seen a lot of changes happening. So there is actually a desperate need now because we see the number of deaths have increased. There's tremendous oxygen shortage and thronging of people for the remdesivir. Then hospital beds are full, and latest we are facing this black fungus also. So now, but still on the treatment side also, a lot of changes have happened because we see the standard drugs are failing, and there is now a desperate need for looking into newer modalities. So compared to the last time, the first wave, now after the second wave has started, we have seen many young radiation oncologists and the COVID treating physicians are showing a lot of interest in LDRT. We are getting a lot of calls inquiring about the trial. So that is the scenario currently. So I'm just going to divide my speech into three parts. In the first part, I'll explain what got us into this trial. And second, what we are doing and how we are doing it. And finally, what we have experienced so far and what we have to say for the younger radiation oncologists and the COVID treating physicians. So I'll start with what brought us into the trial. Somewhere in March, end of March or beginning of April, we got this WhatsApp message where it was addressed to Dr. Stephen by Dr. Jerry Cratler. And Dr. James Welch was included as the principal investigator. So I'm excited to have Dr. James Welch in this webinar today. And at that time, this was the letter which brought us interest into the field of LDRT in COVID pneumonia. And then we started having a lot of literature search. We had a lot of papers which were for LDRT in COVID and a lot of papers against LDRT in COVID. And though there were so many papers, notable among them was the paper by Calabrese, which was for radiation. Okay, after a single dose of 0.3 to 0.5 gray to the patients in COVID pneumonia, the cytokine storm abated so quickly. There was a rapid amelioration of the systemic inflammatory cascade. That was the observation in Calabrese paper. And then on the other side, we also have this notable paper by Cisco Salama, which most of the people quote. But this was raising concerns on two aspects, the radiogenic cancer and the increased incidence of circulatory disease. So we were initially in a dilemma, whether to start this LDRT trial in COVID or go by Cisco Salama and avoid it. So it was then these two concepts that actually convinced us. There is the hormetic response concept proposed by Calabrese, and the concerns raised by Cisco Salama regarding radiogenic cancer and the increased incidence of vascular events was based on a linear threshold model, whereas Calabrese proposed a non-linear threshold model. Thereby, so when we go to the lower side for the low-dose radiotherapy, the excess absolute risk of developing a radiogenic cancer as estimated by the Preston formula was very insignificant. It was only 0.4. Then we also went through a lot of literature which were describing about the malignancy after radiotherapy. So having read all this, we were quite convinced that the incidence of the risk of developing radiation-induced cancer is much low when compared to the pandemic situation and the real need. The second concern which was raised by most of the treating physicians was the selective pressure on the virus, which can lead to newer mutations, whether this LDRT will create a lot of mutations. Here again, we had some literature search and we got two good papers on that. And first of all, LDRT, the mechanism of action itself is not antiviral. So it is on the immune system. So there is no question of selective pressure on the virus. If at all it has to be of concern, and it should be of concern in the antiviral drugs like remdesivir. So that was another paper. And then having convinced with the safety of LDRT, then we have this question of whether it really works. And that is when we went through the historical paper. This Powell study, it was very, very interesting because in 1930, before the advent of antibiotic itself, the rate was so excellent. They were getting so much of good response with radiotherapy for COVID, for pneumonia. But the most interesting lines which we read and which we are experiencing now is these lines I just read out. It is important to establish that Powell had intended to employ radiation therapy in alternative cases of pneumonia to evaluate patient responses. However, Powell stated that his staff would not permit this alternating process. So he was trying to have a control arm, but his staff would not allow him to have the control arm because the patients receiving the X-ray treatment were relieved of the respiratory and circulatory distress within 0.5 to 3 hours. This is exactly what we are experiencing now, because we are in the middle of the study now. We have got a lot of patients recruited already. And in all these cases, we are able to see a visible improvement in the oxygen saturation and the patient sense of well-being. Those patients who had the distress, respiratory distress, they feel so comfortable within few hours after the LDRT. And this history repeats itself. We really got a call from our center's head nurse who refused us to have a control. So she was telling us to recruit all the patients because the patients were improving so dramatically. So this was the radiological response in Powell, and we are also seeing similar responses now in our study too. And regarding the dosage, then again we had to go to the Calabrese study. Then we were looking at the pathophysiology, and we all know the mechanism of action. So having got convinced with the mechanism of action, how it works, then we actually got into the study. And then the next question was regarding the fixing of the dose. Then again, we went back to the Calabrese study where they recommended 0.5 gray because we saw these data that with a lower dose of less than 1 gray, the pro-inflammatory markers reduce, the anti-inflammatory markers increase. That is what we want. Whereas on the contrary, if it goes above 1 gray, then the chances of pro-inflammatory markers increasing is higher. So we opted for a less than 1 gray dose, and we went by the literature evidence and went for a 0.5 gray dose. So that's what we are using now. And then we had a data search on all the existing ongoing trials. And we also had an opportunity to discuss with Dr. D.N. Sharma. That was in October 2020. We also had a discussion with Dr. Khan of Emory University. And having all these eminent people's preliminary experience, then we started this trial. So in our center, how we are exactly delivering the radiotherapy, that I'll hand over to my wife, my co-investigator. She's Dr. Sasipriya, radiation oncologist.
Good evening to all. I'm going to talk about the conventional low-dose radiotherapy planning for COVID-19 patients in our institute, Arshamitra Oncology Private Limited. It is a conventional method. We use variant unique performance linear accelerator in single energy SSD 100 centimeter. Patient is positioned on the Linac couch and mid-chest wall is aligned with room lasers. Patient position is supine. Head position is straight. Neck slightly extended with neck rest to be arm position, both hands above the head. No immobilization. Our target volume is to cover entire bilateral lungs. Field borders superiorly just above the suprasternal notch, inferiorly 2 cm below the xiphisternum, laterally 2 cm medial to anterior axillary fold on either side. Patient separation measured with vertical couch movement with the help of SST indicator. Half of separation is considered as prescription depth. Our field size range from 23 to 30 into 30 for covering entire bilateral lungs. Coming to patient setup verification, SSD is verified. Patient setup verified. Electronic portal image device. Fields is also confirmed whether it is covering entire bilateral lungs. Treatment portals. We are giving in APPA field 0.25 in AP and 0.25 in PA for total dose of 0.5 gray. At dose rate of 100 monitor unit per minute delivered based on field size and prescription depth is usually ranging from 27 to 31 monitor unit. Beam on time 20 to 25 seconds per field. Total treatment time 7 to 10 minutes only, including patient positioning, repeat verification, beam on time, shifting patient out of the renachrome. This is the radiation technique that we are following in our institute. Now I hand over the principal investigator of our study, please, to share the preliminary experience.
Okay. So we have covered why we got into the trial and how we are doing it. So now this is our preliminary experience. This is a CTRI registered trial in October, and it was open for recruitment since November 2020. And the initial phases, we didn't get much cases. Now after the second wave, we have recruited so far 39 cases. As on 25, we have recruited 39 cases. So initially we had designed it like this, all RT-PCR cases of age group from 18 to 90.
I think you have to conclude now. We are getting late.
Okay, sir. Okay. So I'll just jump to the conclusion. So from the pilot phase of 10 cases to assess the acute toxicity, we have now moved on to the comparative phase where we are recruiting 1:2 recruitment ratio. We are aiming for a 17 case in the control arm and 34 in the experimental arm. And we are following up with the SpO2, PaO2 based on the ABG, and then biochemical parameters, CRP, ferritin, interleukin 6, D-dimer, and these are taken at the interval of day 1, 4, 17, like that. CT chest is done at baseline and then on day 14. Chest X-ray is done at baseline and then on 3rd and 7th days. So our preliminary experience shows LDRT is safe because none of the patients had any acute toxicities. And significant finding has evidence in AIIMS Patna study also. There was a significant dramatic improvement in the oxygen demand, particularly in this time, in this second wave, where we are experiencing an acute oxygen shortage all over the country. This has a real significant effect because all our patients return to.
Sir, you have 1 minute now to conclude. 1 minute left.
Yeah, and based on our experience, we had poor results in patients with NIV or who are on very high oxygen flow and CT severity score higher, and patients who present more than 2 weeks. And of course, we had some, this is the disinfection protocol. And with this, I'll conclude because we had some challenges with the linear accelerator. Now, what we have come up with is a portable radiotherapy radiation machine. So this, we have named it as COVID-X, and we have got the AERB type approval also. This is yet to be commissioned, and we are planning for another trial that has been registered with CTRI. That is exclusively using the mobile because we have the advantage of being portable. It goes to the bedside, avoids the shifting. All these disadvantages that we face with the LINAC can be overcome with these portable machines. So that is our area, but this is also not a very novel concept. In the Calabrese paper itself, they were using the KV range machines only. So, and in the Calabrese paper, this is my last slide. So they were actually suggesting us to use X-ray machines, portable X-ray machines, and that was not available anywhere in India. That is why we have devised our own machine, but it is yet to be seen. But here, very importantly, these lines are very pertinent now. Unlike vaccines and pharmacological treatments that are dependent on stock production and distribution from manufacturers, right now we are facing vaccine shortage, we are facing remdesivir shortage, but unlike that, these machines there will be only one-time manufacturing, and that can be used for a very long time. I think it is high time. What I want to tell in my concluding remarks is, this is high time that more and more studies are taken up for exploring the role of LDRT. And once we are established, we can also go into the possibility of developing portable devices so that at least we are prepared for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.